Most people fail before they even start. Not because they lack intelligence. Not because they don't have talent. And certainly not because the world is unfair. They fail because they've surrendered the battle in the mind. Long before the first step is ever taken. They've already rehearsed defeat in their imagination. They've already built a prison out of fear, doubt, and hesitation, and then volunteered to live inside it. Understand this. Before any man built an empire, he first built belief. Before Edison lit the world, he lit the fire within. Before Carnegie amassed steel, he forged the mental steel to persist where others broke. You see, failure isn't when your idea crumbles. Failure is when you convince yourself you're not the kind of person who can rise. And too many people lose the war in silence because they never learn how to think with power. This world was not designed for the timid. It was built by men and women who stared at the impossible and said, "Move." But if you've already decided that you're too late, too broken, too unlucky, then your starting line becomes your finish line. And that's where most people remain, frozen, not by chains, but by choices, not by enemies, but by inner beliefs whispered so often, they became truth. They said, "I'll wait until I'm ready." But the truth? You were born ready the moment you had a dream. The difference between those who build legacies and those who vanish into obscurity isn't intelligence. It's clarity. It's conviction. It's the inner decision that says, "This life will not pass me by." Henry Ford wasn't born with certainty. He created it bolt by bolt, failure by failure. His first 2 car companies collapsed in smoke and shame. But he didn't stop. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't care that he was mocked. He built a vision so powerful it pulled him forward when logic said stop. And you've got that same fire, buried under decades of distraction, doubt, and dead-end thinking. But it's there, waiting, wanting. The reason most people fail isn't because the path is hard. It's because they're soft with their vision. They haven't decided what they want. They're waiting for signs instead of becoming the signal. They're hoping the world gives them a map, when what they need is a mirror. Look into it. See what you've been avoiding. The missed opportunities. The moments you talked yourself out of trying. The dreams you buried because someone said they were too big, too bold, too unrealistic. But know this, every man who changed the world was once called unrealistic. Every leader, visionary, creator laughed at before they were followed. Disney was told he had no imagination. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Lincoln failed in business, lost elections, and was labeled a loser for decades, before he became legend. So what's stopping you? You're not lacking opportunity. You're lacking ownership. Because once you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. The fog lifts, the world sharpens, and you realize the only permission slip you ever needed was written by your own hand. This life doesn't reward the most deserving. It rewards the most decisive. Those who dare. Those who show up when the mood is gone. Those who punch fear in the face and say, "Not today." Most people fail before they even start because they expect a guarantee. They want a contract that says, "Success is promised." But greatness never hands out contracts. It hands out tests. And the test is this: will you move without certainty? Will you act before you feel ready? Will you show up when no one claps, when the vision is blurry, when the odds are brutal? If you can say yes to that, you've already started winning. You've already separated yourself from the 99% who wait for green lights in a world run by red tape. You're not here to survive. You're here to ignite. There comes a moment in every person's life when silence becomes unbearable, when the voice inside grows louder than the noise around them. That voice isn't fear. It's your future, calling you, demanding you rise. But most people, they don't answer. They drown it in distraction. They sedate it with excuses. They ignore it until it dies, then pretend it never existed. But you're still listening. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. So listen closely now, because this is the truth. Clarity is not given. It is built. You don't wake up with vision. You forge it through repetition, through discipline, through the daily choice to see beyond your current circumstances. Clarity begins when you stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I don't try?" What if you're the one who breaks the cycle? What if you're the first in your family to stop surviving and start building? What if that whisper inside you is your calling, and ignoring it is the most expensive mistake you'll ever make? You don't need more time. You need more intention. Napoleon Hill said, "Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Not talent, not connections, not luck. Purpose. You must decide, this is who I am. This is what I want. And nothing will pull me off this path." Write it down. Repeat it until it echoes through your bloodstream. Let it become your identity. Because a person without a clear purpose will always be distracted by meaningless noise, by gossip, by trends, by fear masquerading as practicality. But a person with a definite chief aim, they become unshakable. Their life becomes a laser beam, focused, powerful, dangerous to anything standing in their way. This world doesn't need more people who dabble. It needs warriors of vision, architects of destiny, individuals who say, "I will create the life I was born for, even if I have to crawl through fire to get there." Carnegie didn't try. He decided. Jobs didn't test the waters. He declared war on mediocrity. Hill didn't hope he'd figure it out. He built a philosophy of success from the broken pieces of his own struggle. And that's what you must do. Take your setbacks, your fears, your regrets, and use them as raw materials to build the framework of a life that means something. Your vision must be louder than your excuses. Your future must weigh more than your past. Because here's the harsh truth. No one is going to hand you a life worth living. No one is going to wake you up at 5 a.m. No one is going to force you to write the book, build the business, chase the fire. You must do it, or it will not be done. And most people, they never cross that line, because discipline scares them, because clarity demands sacrifice, because purpose doesn't come with applause, it comes with pain. But you are not most people. You are not here to wish. You are here to work. You are not here to play it safe. You are here to walk the edge, burn the ships, and never look back. There's a reason the masses remain average. Because average is easy. Average requires no belief, no direction, no courage. But greatness? Greatness demands everything. And when you give everything, life opens up doors you never knew existed. So don't ask, "Will this work out?" Ask, "Will I become the kind of person who makes it work no matter what?" That question changes everything. Because when you shift your focus from outcome to identity, you stop chasing, and you start becoming. Discipline. The word most people avoid. The word that separates want from will. The invisible bridge between vision and reality. Most people fail before they even start, because they believe motivation is enough. But motivation is fleeting. It shows up when things are easy, when the sun is shining, when the music is playing. Discipline? Discipline shows up when no one is watching, when the weight is heavy, when the results are invisible, when your bones ache and your mind begs you to quit. Understand this. Success is not built on hype. It's built on habits. Relentless, boring, unglamorous repetition. And most people never make it past that first week of silence, where results haven't shown up, but the resistance has. They quit on day 5. They backtrack after one rejection. They delete the plan when it doesn't go viral. But you must become the kind of person who shows up no matter what. The kind who laces up the shoes before the sunrise, who puts in the reps before the crowd, who writes records, builds, studies while others scroll. Napoleon Hill said, "Persistence is to the character of man as carbon is to steel." You want to become unbreakable? Forge yourself in fire. Stop asking for ease. Ask for endurance. Discipline is the compass that points toward destiny. And every time you follow it, your confidence multiplies. Because discipline tells the truth. I trust myself. And a man who trusts himself is limitless. Start small if you have to, but start. Wake up an hour earlier. Trade entertainment for education. Replace complaining with commitment. You don't need to overhaul your life in one day. You need to become the person who shows up every day. Because consistent effort beats occasional intensity. Because a single page written daily becomes a book. Because one brick laid each morning becomes a fortress. Greatness is built in the moments no one sees. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect. It's the daily act of saying, "My dream matters more than my comfort." And yes, it will be lonely. It will be misunderstood. There will be days when your mind screams, "Why keep going?" And the answer will be simple, because you said you would. And that promise? That's sacred. The world may not believe in you yet, but that doesn't matter. You must believe in you before the world ever will. Because the ones who change their lives, the ones who rewrite history, they aren't the most gifted. They're the most committed. When Edison failed 10,000 times, he didn't complain. He said, "I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work." That's not just optimism. That's identity. He was the light before the world ever saw it. And so must you be. You must be the author before the book is written, the speaker before the stage, the builder before the blueprints are finished, the leader before the title is given. Do not wait for permission to be who you are. Live it now, because the universe does not reward intentions. It rewards execution. The path will not go as planned. It never does. And that's not the problem. The problem is thinking it should. Most people fail before they even start, because they believe success is a straight line, and the moment it bends, they break. But the truth? Success is chaos mastered. It is flexibility with fire. It is the ability to bend without snapping, to adapt without losing direction. You must be both mountain and river, unshakable in purpose, fluid in method. Darwin never said the strongest survive. He said those who adapt the fastest. And if you cannot evolve, you will evaporate. Because life is movement, and the game changes every day. Your goals will test you, not just in effort, but in evolution. You will outgrow people. You will bury old habits. You will say goodbye to versions of yourself that no longer fit the future you're building. And yes, that hurts. Growth always does. But hear me, if your environment doesn't challenge you, it is caging you. If your circle doesn't stretch you, it is shrinking you. If your life looks the same year after year, you're not living, you're looping. Resilience isn't about standing still while the storm rages. Resilience is about walking through it with your eyes open, your back straight, your mind locked on the horizon. And you will be hit with doubt, with loss, with unexpected betrayal. You will be laughed at, underestimated, told you're unrealistic, foolish, crazy for wanting more. Let them speak. Let them doubt. Let them watch. You are not building your life for approval. You are building it for impact. Walt Disney was fired for lacking creativity. He didn't fight the editor. He built an empire. Oprah was told she was unfit for TV. She didn't beg for a second chance. She became the network. Resilient people don't argue with small minds. They outgrow them. They don't crumble at rejection. They use it as redirection. They don't fall apart when the plan changes. They change with it, because the destination doesn't care how you get there, only that you do. You must let go of perfection. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Paralyzes the brave. It rewards the passive. And it kills dreams quietly with the phrase, "I'm not ready." But readiness isn't a feeling. It's a decision. And resilience is not a trait you're born with. It's a muscle. And you build it every time you refuse to quit. Every time you rise after being knocked down. Every time you keep going when no one claps. Every time you choose faith over fear. Because here's the raw truth. If you can't handle pressure, you'll never hold power. If you can't embrace the unknown, you'll never touch greatness. And if you can't suffer the weight of growth, you'll stay shackled to comfort. But you are not here to play small. You are not here to repeat your past. You are here to evolve, to become, to rise. And that rise won't be pretty. It won't be linear. It won't be fair. But it will be worth it. Greatness is never accidental. It is the product of obsession. obsession with mastery, with learning, with becoming sharper than yesterday. Most people fail before they even start because they crave comfort more than wisdom. They chase validation more than transformation. They consume passively endless videos, quotes, advice, but never convert that knowledge into power. And knowledge without application is nothing but potential energy, stored in silence, wasted. Understand this: the most dangerous man in the room isn't the loudest. It's the one who studies in the dark, applies in the quiet, and shows up prepared when the moment arrives. Learning is your leverage, not school, not memorization, but real strategic learning. Learning that expands your perception, sharpens your mind, and turns theory into unstoppable force. Napoleon Hill didn't just study success. He documented it. He dissected it like a surgeon. He interviewed titans and built a roadmap to greatness by finding the patterns behind the power. Because greatness leaves clues, but most people never follow them. Why? Because they want shortcuts. They want secrets. They want 90-day plans with 0-day work ethic. But the ones who rise, they read, they study, they learn from every loss, every mentor, every mistake. They don't get bitter, they get better. They don't seek entertainment, they seek elevation. And they understand one timeless truth: if your mind doesn't grow, your life never will. Think of Carnegie, born in poverty, son of a weaver, no formal education. Yet he built libraries across America. Why? Because he knew books are weapons, ideas are ammunition, and the man who controls his thoughts controls his fate. The greatest learners aren't addicted to certainty. They're addicted to curiosity. They don't say, "I already know." They ask, "What else can I master?" And mastery isn't found in hype. It's found in humility, in showing up with an open mind and an unshakable work ethic. Repetition is the mother of mastery. While others chase novelty, you must chase depth. While others skim, you must study. While others talk, you must do. Because in a world of noise, depth is power. You don't rise by knowing a little about everything. You rise by becoming a weapon in something. Study the greats. Study yourself. Study failure. Study patterns. Study history. Study systems. Then apply. This world doesn't belong to those who know. It belongs to those who execute what they know. Information is not transformation. Action is. Adaptation is. Execution is. You want to change your life? Stop scrolling. Start studying. Then move. Because your mind is the forge. And every lesson you apply is a hammer strike against weakness. Learn ruthlessly. Apply relentlessly. Evolve unapologetically. Purpose without action is just a dream, a fantasy, a wish, a soft pillow to rest on when reality gets too sharp. But action is where the soul sharpens its edge. You can read every book, watch every video, write 1,000 goals in glittering journals. But until you move, until you act, nothing changes. Why do most people fail before they even start? Because they wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect sign from the universe that everything will go as planned. But here's the truth. Nothing is coming. No perfect moment. No permission slip. No green light from life saying, "Now it's safe." Winners don't wait for certainty, they move with intention. They walk into the unknown with shaky hands and steady hearts. They act not because they aren't afraid, but because they've decided fear doesn't get to drive. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. 1,000 failures. 1,000 silent rejections from reality. And yet he kept acting. Because he wasn't experimenting with light. He was practicing faith in motion. Most people would have stopped at failure number 7. Maybe number 12. Maybe 57. But the people who build what others call impossible, they keep going. They don't measure progress by applause. They measure it by movement. And here's the paradox. Every time you act, you become more of who you're meant to be. Your confidence doesn't come from believing you can do it. It comes from proving it to yourself in motion. You don't become disciplined by thinking about discipline. You become disciplined by doing the hard thing when you don't feel like it, by keeping the promise you made to yourself long after the mood you made it in has died. Do you want to be great? Do you want to live with power and peace and purpose? Then start where you are. Not next month. Not after the next course. Not when your anxiety calms down or the timing is right. Now, because every second you hesitate, your dream gets one step further. And every second you move, your fear loses ground. And don't misunderstand me. Action doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean burnout or blind hustle. It means clarity in motion. It means executing when it's boring. It means showing up when no one is watching. It means building even when you're doubting. It means waking up every single day and saying, I may not be the smartest, the richest, the fastest, but I will not quit. And that, more than anything, is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Because this world isn't changed by people with the best ideas. It's changed by those willing to act on imperfect ones. Every step forward sharpens your sword. Every rep builds resilience. Every small, quiet action plants the seeds of unstoppable transformation. Don't let the size of the mountain stop you from taking the first step. Don't let the shadow of failure paralyze your feet. Start now. Start ugly. Start unsure. But just start. Because motion creates momentum. And momentum is the engine of greatness.